Hey houseplant friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to tell you about how I grow my peace lilies. I have successfully kept both of these alive for 2 months. I'm going to tell you everything I've learned about them, how I care for them, the kind of light they get, how much I water them, what I fertilize them with, all of the stuff. A couple people have been asking me for this video for a really long time, so if you're one of those people, congratulations, today's your day. Peace lilies are a really interesting, fun plant because they have this massive, beautiful green jungle foliage without the hassle of a plant that needs a lot of high humidity, more like tropical environments. While peace lilies are technically considered a tropical, decorative, ornamental plant, they can thrive in almost every situation inside a house as long as it's given enough light and water to survive. I have had peace lilies before. They were definitely not the big ones. They were very small little peace lilies I had back in 2020. I had a peace lily domino and a peace lily Picasso. Both are variegated varieties of peace lily. In the past, I've always kind of turned my nose up at peace lilies because I just haven't loved them that much. But then something struck me not too long ago, okay? And what struck me was I was at Home Depot minding my own business. And what do I see? Just sitting there, a massive motherfucking peace lily the size of the world. And I was like, you know what? That hits different. I was in this kind of mental space where I just want I'm talking all of the big plants. I want big trees. I just want big, okay? The bigger the plant, the better. And I saw this peace lily, and I mean mammoth, okay? Mammoth in size. Way more big now, by the way. Like, it was big when I got it. Oh my gosh, it's massive now. My experience with living with a peace lily for the past 3 months is that they are probably the most rewarding plant that I have. I have 2 mammoth peace lilies. I'll show them to you. This is my biggest peace lily. It is absolutely mammoth. It has a couple flowers coming in right now, so I actually do need to cut those off. But I mean, this thing it's gigantic. It's absolutely massive. Here it is. If I were just holding it, it's very, very tall, and it has a lot of foliage. Peace lilies are so cool because they can add this beautiful jungle foliage look to your house and your plants without being this like super expensive plant. This one was $34.98. It wasn't this big when I got it, because this is huge, but it was pretty big. Normally, if you want like a really big plant, you're gonna have to pay like a ton of money, but now with peace lilies are an incredible way to get an affordable, large look for your plant collection that's like a super fun jungle vibe. I love it. I've been sleeping on peace lilies for like 2 years of houseplants, and I finally get it now, okay, you guys, I get it. Why wouldn't you want that? I don't know, I want it. Here's my other peace lily, probably half the size of the other one. This one was also large when I got it. However, this one I kind of neglected just a little bit. It really needed to be watered, and it was telling me I need to be watered, and I just wasn't listening. Was not listening at all. I let it droop significantly. I mean, I think all the leaves were like this. Like they were drooping, right? And I was like, no, you're fine. You're fine. And then I went a week and a half without watering it, rewatered it. Most of the leaves didn't come back. So this plant, you'll see, has a lot of smaller little peace lily leaves coming off of it, and that's because it's growing back in. The other one, I didn't make the same mistake with, but this one, I mean, it's vastly smaller than the other one. That was when I realized, like, when people are talking about peace lily care and they're like, you have to water these things. Like, if they droop, you water them that second. They're telling the truth, 100%, that is completely accurate. The big question, how often do I water these peace lilies? I water them probably once every 3 to 4 days. Seems like a lot. I live in a desert, Idaho wilds, okay? We just don't have the humidity here. We don't really have the natural water existing in the air. The area that I keep my plants in is in the biggest room in my entire house, and my entire house is basically this one big open concept room. So essentially, humidity here is not gonna work unless I had the built-in humidifier system into my house, which I did learn does exist. You can do that if you want to. I don't know why anyone wouldn't, but you can do it. It's impossible for me to upkeep the humidity. So these plants probably get 25 to 30% humidity, which is about the resting humidity in Idaho. Here's the fun thing. I live like right next to a canal. The canal's open very soon. I am interested in seeing how much the natural humidity rises through the summer while the canal is open. Because I mean, it's huge. The canal is probably like 30 or 40 feet across. It's massive. It's huge, okay? And it goes across my whole neighborhood. So I'm thinking perhaps Humidity will rise in the summer. I will keep you updated. You will hear from my lawyer. I will tell you. But right now, very low humidity. 35, like 30 to 25%, maybe, right? Maybe. These plants get pretty bright, indirect light from my south-facing windows. They are straight south. Over on the other side of my house, over there, it's more southeast. I can't explain how the directions work. My house is a square, but for some reason, the windows over there are southeast and not east. These are south. I'm thinking my house is probably like at an angle. Those are north, south. Okay, these plants get incredibly bright light for like 9 hours a day. My peace lilies, I have obviously pulled back from the window because I do not think peace lilies like direct light. I could be wrong, but I really don't think that they do. I think they would probably burn. The leaves are pretty fragile even when they've been watered. I'm not really thinking peace lilies would probably do too well. These plants get bright indirect light from a south-facing window, and they freaking love it. They absolutely adore it. This one's putting out like 4 different flowers right now. I'm actually gonna cut off as soon as they're like half emerging. See this? They're not out yet, so I can't take that out yet, but a couple of these flowers are gonna come off as soon as possible. When plants are flowering, they grow slower because they're putting all the energy into flowering. So if you want your plant to grow faster, cut off the flowers. What do I fertilize these bad boys with? I fertilize them with liquid earth. Wow, you hear me talk about liquid earth all the time. That's probably because they sponsor my channel. You can use code plantme_25 to get 25% off your entire liquid earth order. That's literally $25 off a $100 order. You're welcome. $5 off a $20 order. You guys are so welcome. You're so welcome. But yeah, the peace lilies get liquid earth. All my plants get liquid earth. Liquid earth also lasts a really long time, so I highly recommend it. But your plants will get massive, okay? Look at this. Are you kidding? I've had this for like 2 months, and I am so bad at watering my plants. I've noticed that the more you water plants, the more they grow. So now I'm like obsessed with watering my plants because I want them to grow. Peace lilies are pretty straightforward as long as you're watering it a lot, giving it bright indirect light. If you don't know what bright indirect light is, if you were to put like a curtain over one of your brightest windows in your house, like a sheer curtain, and all of a sudden you just have like, your room is like so bright, it's like so bright, bro. Your plants aren't touching the light, like there's no light actively touching your leaves, that's bright indirect light. And that's what you want for almost all houseplants, even ZZs. Pot and soil. My peace lily is currently, I think, in a pretty easily drainable mix. Like just looking at it, that this is a 10-inch round pot. From what I'm looking at, I mean, it's definitely a dense mix with a lot of like potting soil in it, but it also has a ton of bark in it. I can't give you the best advice on what to pot your peace lily in, but I do know that you're gonna want it to be able to retain a little bit of moisture because these bad boys love water, okay? They absolutely love it. I do know some people who have grown their peace lilies like in water completely. You could pretty much grow, I mean, anything in semi or full hydro. Like it's very common. If you're wanting to go the soil route, give it something like 75% potting soil and like 25% orchid bark or something else that's gonna like help the plant drain so that it's not like getting root rot, you know what I mean? This specific pot has one hole in the bottom and a bunch of holes on the sides, so it has pretty good drainage as well. And usually when I water it, a little bit comes out in the tray at the very bottom, and then the plant like soaks it back up. So it does seem to want it. Honestly, my biggest piece of advice is if you notice your peace lily starts to droop, you need to water it immediately, like instantly. Maybe you could let it go a few hours, maybe a day, but peace lilies, they really want water. They really want water as soon as they're asking for it. Otherwise you risk getting some yellow leaves, and nobody wants a yellow leafed peace lily, okay? They want big, nice green jungle foliage. I'm trying to think if there's like anything I'm missing. I think on my peace lilies, they're putting out new leaves pretty much on a constant basis. They're never not putting out new little leaf trumpets. They're so beautiful to look at. I absolutely adore them. I do want more. I think I want 5 total peace lilies. Right now we have these 3 ones. Oh, oops. I genuinely just accidentally ripped a little bit of mine off. I was playing with the leaves. If you guys have any tips, maybe you've been growing peace lilies for like years and years and years and years. Normally, I like my houseplants to be like a roommate. I don't want to have to baby my plants. But lately, kind of on the baby train, kind of liking babying my plants and helping them. Peace lilies have really big leaves, so you'll definitely want to make sure that you're like wiping off the leaves to make sure that they're getting plenty of photosynthesis. Apparently, according to some people, sometimes if your plants get really dusty, it makes it harder for them to photosynthesize. So you should wipe them off. I don't know if that's true though, because nobody's wiping off the leaves of plants outside, like in the real world, but maybe they don't get dusty because of the wind. If you decide to move your peace lilies lilies outside for some reason, and you want to grow them out there, you're going to need to probably water them every single day, because when plants experience wind and temperature outside, they get stressed out a whole lot more. There's a reason outdoor plants need to be watered so much. It's because plants use more water when they're blowing around in the wind. So if you move your peace lily outside, you are probably going to need to water like every single day to every other day, unless you live in a humid place, maybe where there's just more natural water in the air. But if you're in my area where it's really, really dry, like probably maybe under 45% resting humidity, you're gonna need to water this plant a lot if you take it outside. A lot of you guys have been asking how I take care of them. They have gotten very massive, so I don't blame you. I too would probably look at a large, massive peace lily and be like, how did you do that? But I promise, I bought them when they were already kind of big. The fact that I haven't killed them is a big move for me, because I kill a lot of my plants that are needy, but these ones are living. I actually really, really, really love them. I can't believe I didn't like peace lilies before. When I first got into plants, I was like, ooh, that plant, the one that everyone loves, I don't want to like it then. But now I'm like, there's a reason everybody likes this plant. It's because it's wonderful. Peace lilies can also tolerate a lower light situation if you wanted to. Like, you could put them in a medium, low, indirect light. They're good office plants. I see them in the airport all the time. They look fine. I think the biggest thing that makes or breaks a peace lily is how often it's getting watered. So yep, make sure that you're watering your peace lily all the time, and make sure you water it with Liquider every single time. Use code PlantMe_25 to get 25% off. Liquider, it's amazing. Me and all my friends use it for a reason. Also, businesses use Liquider for a reason. It works. So definitely check out Liquider. Also, it helps me. It helps support the channel. So yeah, if you love peace lilies, make sure you give this video a like. If you have a friend who maybe just got into peace lilies, send them this video. Maybe they'll want to see it. Who knows? I feel like this was a pretty not boring care video. I hate watching most care videos because they're boring. So I tried to be kind of fun. You'll hear from my lawyer, okay? My lawyer calling you right now. I'll tell you about the canal situation in the summer, okay? In maybe like 4 or 5 months, I'll give you like a nice good video. I'll make sure to come back and link it in this video's description. So if you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 months, maybe the video's out, go check in the description. Liquider link will also be in the description. If you want your peace lilies to grow faster, make sure you're cutting off the flowers. Also, I know peace lilies aren't poisonous to cats. It's possible that their flowers are. I know almost all lilies are like incredibly poisonous for cats. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to join the YouTube channel memberships if you're interested. It helps me do this full time. We have tons of benefits in the YouTube membership Discord as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my streaming channel where I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. PST. Thank you so much to Botanicas, Kim Klinowski, and Lauren Alexandra for the extra and continued channel support. I'm just gonna have to see you guys in the next houseplant section. Goodbye. Let me know your peace lily tips in the comment section down below. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next houseplant section. Goodbye.